Hello and welcome to my video on benzodiazepines. I'll provide an overview of this medication class for anyone interested in learning more about them. This class of medication is used, and sadly abused, quite regularly. This video should prove beneficial to anyone looking to familiarize themselves with these medications. Benzodiazepines, or benzos as they are commonly called, work in the nervous system to slow things down. Now this is through the nervous system and mostly has effects on anxiety and seizures, as well as physical effects such as relaxing muscles. Their biggest appropriate medical use would be for seizures that last longer than 5 minutes. Some are even used for long-term seizure treatment and prevention. There is even a rectal gel for at-home use too. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. These are also typical for use in withdrawal symptoms of certain drugs such as stimulants and alcohol, or even with chemotherapy-induced throwing up. The most frequent use of these, however, is for anxiety. Now these should be used for high anxiety situations, short-term for things that affect sleep or disrupt someone's life. That is because they do not actually treat anxiety, they just sedate someone into not being anxious. They work fast and can be helpful short-term for this, but when used longer-term they start to be detrimental. There are the side effects which we will talk about later, but also people become dependent on this medicine and will find it hard to function without it, and of course get withdrawal symptoms from it as well. They really shouldn't be used for sleep either, except for short-term for reasons mentioned before. Now, the funny thing here is that some benzos are specially used for sleep, and a lot of people use them consistently for this very reason. Sadly, just because something is done frequently does not mean it's right. Also used just for depression and not anxiety is a bad idea also. These can actually worsen depression when taken. There are some other offhand uses as well, such as calming someone down before a medical procedure or an MRI, especially people with claustrophobia. They can be beneficial when someone is on a ventilator, among other uses. Okay, now to talk about how they do what they do. I already mentioned they work in the nervous system. They specifically work on a neurotransmitter, or a type of messenger in the body, called GABA. Now GABA slows things down, reduces anxiety, helps you sleep, involved in the seizure process, and relaxes muscles. Basically, by preventing messengers that would speed things up, benzos help GABA along and boost its effects. Now to talk about some of the downsides of benzodiazepines. While this slowing down effect is good where you want it, it still slows down the things you don't want slowed down as well. So it'll make you drowsy. Dizziness is a pretty big deal as well. Since it can relax muscles, this can lead to movement issues when it relaxes muscles you don't need relaxed. The biggest common issue with this is that it can relax the muscle that helps you breathe. This can readily cause breathing problems, especially when taken with opioids. This can be made even worse. This is a pretty common combination and can also cause severe issues. Basically, they are a dangerous combination which involve many drug-related premature endings for people. These are not good in pregnancy. They can cause birth defects and problems in a newborn. However, when used for seizures, the pros and cons need to be weighed, since seizures can be very detrimental for the baby. Certain benzos are better choices than others in this case. Another thing to keep in mind is that these will make people dependent on them. After taking them for just a short while, they will be needed not just for the initial reason, but to function as is perceived to be properly. That's why, if it can be helped, just a short 1 to 2 week treatment course before stopping them is preferred. Also, your body builds resistance, or tolerance, if you will, to them over time. So the need for higher dosing will be a growing concern for the body, as well as the ever-increasing side effects. Now, the elderly are especially prone to side effects from this class. Confusion is very common, as well as a higher likelihood of falling. I do want to hit on a pretty big point before finishing this up. This class is pretty bad for messing with your memory. Now what's bad is that they can actually impair your ability to form new memories, or really learn, if you will. They obviously do not just make a person stupid moving forward, but this can be a big issue that is not necessarily realized by the person taking the medicine. They are pretty bad for causing sleepwalking. Now really where this comes into play is that these medicines do not really help you sleep, they just make you forget you are awake. Because how do we discern being awake from sleeping? It's just the blank in between trying to fall asleep and waking up. People tend to raid the refrigerators, go on nighttime drives, all sorts of things, because they are not themselves, if you will, but their inhibited being that isn't really fully conscious. Benzodiazepines are very common, and a lot of people use these medications for a plethora of reasons. Now these reasons are not always what is best for them, but this class has pretty serious importance for people that do need them. With that being said, I hope this overview of the benzodiazepines has benefited you in some way or another. I do release videos fairly regularly on medications and pharmaceuticals, so if you like quick, concise overviews, I hope you subscribe so you can keep benefiting from my videos. Have a good day.